Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Imam Sahib says that today, the last day of Ramadan, is upon us, and we are extremely grateful to Allah that He has granted us this blessed month in our lives, and He has given us the capacity to pray in accordance with their efforts and with their desires. Today, this is the last tradition to be presented in this last dars, and this is a long tradition which sheds light on some very important points. Many events are mentioned in the same tradition. Imam Sahib says that I'll present just the translation of this because of keeping in mind the limits of time. This is related by Abdullah bin Umar Zanho, and he said that he heard the Holy Prophet ﷺ state that among the people before you, there were 3 men who embarked on a journey. They left at night, and while traveling, night befell on their journey, and they went into a cave because they had to spend the night in the cave for protection from the elements, etc. So they were resting in that cave when suddenly a large rock rolled from the top of the hill and blocked the hole that they had come in from. Imam Sahib said this is a very interesting subject. There are 3 people who go into a cave, everything was fine, but suddenly a stone fell from the top of the mountain and it came and rested in front of the cave. So they became blocked into the cave. How could they go out of here? They had left for some reasons, left on a journey, and now they were stuck in this place. So they spoke to each other, and they spoke some very good matters. Imam Sahib says that when one is in trouble, such thoughts arise in the mind that when one is in trouble, they discuss it with each other, and they were asked each other, they discussed how they could come out of this precarious position, and they came to the conclusion that the only way to escape now was to pray and ask for Allah's help. So this is what happens in every true believer's heart, that when they are in trouble, they know that they have Allah who can help them. So they knew that this was the only way, was to pray to Allah, pray earnestly to Allah. So they decided that let us use our good deeds and let us remind Allah or tell Allah of the good things that they had done, and request Allah to save them in response for that. So Imam Sahib said that this is also to do with being grateful, that when one refers to some goodness that one has performed, a good deed that one has acted on in the past, and that can also become a source of the fulfillment of the prayer. But this is a very good decision that they arrived at. So one of them started speaking, and he addressed Allah, and he said that, "Oh my Allah, my parents were very, very elderly, and they had become very weak, and I would feed them before I would feed anything else. Like I wouldn't feed my family or my animals." And this was the feeling that I had, that whenever there was a time to eat, I would leave before I gave food to anything else that I was supposed to give food to. I would give the food to them first, and after they had eaten, then I would give the food to my family, my wife and my children. And once, while I was bringing some feed from outside, and I became late and I could not reach home. I could not arrive home before my parents went to sleep. So Imam Sahib said this is a very interesting story. So because his parents had gone to sleep, so he thought in his mind that it is not right to wake them up, that I should wake them up and I should offer them something to eat or drink. And I also did not want that I should feed my family before I feed them. So even though his family and his animals were hungry, but he did not like to feed them. So he neither wanted to wake them up, nor did he want to feed anyone else before they were fed. So he took a glass of milk and he stood by the side of their bed and waited for them to wake up. And they did not wake up till Fajr. For the whole night he was standing there with the milk, and he said that his children were crying, but he did not give them any of the milk. And because he wanted to give it to their parents first, he stood there and he did not wake them up either, in order to not disturb them from their sleep. So he said, "Oh my Allah, if I did this in order to attain your blessings, then remove this trouble that we are in." And he said that because of this, even though his children were crying and sobbing at his feet, and he did not wake his parents until they had the milk. So he said that if I did this act to earn your pleasure, then please remove the stone. And lo, the stone was removed a little bit. The next man said that he was deeply in love with his cousin and wanted to have illegitimate relations with him, but she refused and would keep herself away from him. And once there was a famine, and this beloved of mine was compelled to come to me, and I gave her 120 dinars at the condition that she would give herself to me in exchange for the money. So she was in a desperate strait. So she said she agreed, and he said that when I was ready to perform the illegitimate relation with her, she said she said to me that be afraid of Allah and don't break the seal that Allah has created. And when I heard this, I immediately stopped for the fear of Allah, and she looked very beautiful to me and very desirable to me. But I left her because I did not wish to commit a sin. So he said that if I did this act in order to earn your pleasure, then please help us. At this, the stone rolled away a bit more, but it was still not enough for them to leave the cave. The path was still narrow. At this, the third man said that I had kept some laborers to do some job for me, and I had to give them their wages. But one person thought that the wage was low, and he didn't take the wage and he left. He became upset, and he said that this money that he had left behind, I put it into a business with honesty, and Allah put blessings in it, and I got a lot of it increased, and the investment increased, and I managed to purchase a lot of animals, etc. with that money. So after a while, the man came back and asked for his money because he has fallen on difficult financial times. So because I had invested the money and it had increased several times, I told him that the camels and the goats, etc., they were all there. I said, these are all yours, take them. he said that if you don't want to pay me wages, then it's fine, but at least don't mock me by saying that all of this is mine. And he said, no, I'm not mocking you. This is your money that I had invested, and it was your money that you worked hard and that you didn't take from me, and I put it into a business. Then the man became extremely pleased, and he took all of that money and all of those animals. He left nothing behind. And so after he expressed this incident, then the man, Imam Sahib says that each of them presented their good deeds and their truths, and then they said that, "Oh our Allah, if you know that I did this act, I performed this act to earn your pleasure, then please save us from this difficulty that we are stuck in." So they each offered their good deeds, and they said that if we did this to earn your pleasure, then, oh Allah, you are extremely merciful, and accept our prayer and save us from our predicament. And he said that because of this, these prayers, because of the third prayer, the stone moved the final amount and opened the mouth of the cave, and they managed to escape. So Allah says that because of one good deed, Allah gives people the capacity to do more good deeds, and also Allah removes their difficulties. May Allah enable us to remember this lesson, that we should try to do good to people, and in accordance with our capacity, but then even we should do it even more. May Allah enable this Ramadan to be extremely blessed for all of us, and may Allah enable us, may Allah give us the blessing to repeatedly go through a month of Ramadan and to benefit from it and to go through it successfully. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammadin wa barik wa sallam innaka Hamidum Mujeeb. And please remember me in your final prayers as well. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.